Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible. Can you?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Am I crisp enough?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, thanks. Great. Hey, Keshav, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, sir. Good, sir. क्या हो रहा है? क्या हाल चाल? How's it going? I heard
Uh,
you're doing crazy ass PhD, man, huh?
that's even I don't know how I landed up here. So, करना पड़ता है.
Fantastic, yeah, fantastic. That's wonderful.
But you're doing great job as well. I've seen like Instagram. I keep following you. So, uh,
अरे
I kind of knew that you know about gamification because I saw some post where you shared the book that you read. That's a very famous book that came out of
yes.
gamification as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You कोई चल वाली. Yes, actionable gamification, right?
yeah, exactly. I think it's by
Yeah.
some Korean guy. I attended one of his conferences as well. Pretty cool.
Yes, Yukai. Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. Yeah. मतलब उसको उतना ज़्यादा I don't know, like he hasn't got crazy recognition, but I think he's a very practical guy who's like deep dived into a lot of gamification techniques and everything.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
what he decoded was what practitioners can actually apply. Gamification as a research, अभी जहाँ जा रहा है, it's more about psychology, like क्या होता है दिमाग में जिसकी वजह से. But he kind of that book is quite good in terms of practitioners, like how to just implement it. Uh,
Yeah. In fact, while I was reading that, मैं तो notes बना रहा था, to be very honest, and how I can implement a lot of that stuff for my products. And somehow I tried to do a few things, and it really increased our engagement. So मतलब it works like, but of course वो मतलब थोड़ा you have to twist it for yourself. That is
yeah,
something you have to
exactly.
customize it for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
In fact,
so
yeah, we'll get into that also because I need to understand a
yes,
few things in that.
I
Uh,
am sorry I haven't gone through your questionnaire. It has been a really busy last 2 days,
no,
but
no,
I am happy to answer any question abhi,
yeah,
जो
yeah.
भी whatever, however way I can help you.
Huh, perfect. So, I mean, let's just start with you. By the way, this is getting recorded. If that's fine.
Yes,
Yeah,
got it. Yeah.
because I need the transcript.
Mhm.
so, first of all, like, can you just give a brief overview of your role in the application or the organization that we're going to talk about, which uses gamification?
Sure. So I've used, presently I'm using gamification in a product that I'm building called Sarthi. It is it's under the Leaf umbrella itself, but the product is essentially a platform which enables you to learn whatever makes you earn. So it is a very money-driven platform. It is essentially taking a person from a 5,000 rupee net worth to 50,000 rupee net worth step by step and showing him the right journey,
Okay.
engaging him on the way and then making him achieve milestones to increase his value and net worth essentially. So that is Sati, and we call it learn to earn.
Okay.
So that is what I'm building, and in that itself, since it's a gamified learning platform, I'm using all the gamification techniques.
Okay.
So
Uh,
and not only the basic ones like leaderboard, point system, blah blah blah, but in more in depth, which lead to inherent virality. So ek
mm,
to one is that the other part is I've used a lot of gamification while I was building this application for Leaf itself. It was mainly application which allowed you to take which allowed various people to take sound tests.
mm,
So you can create your own ear print, just like you have your thumb print, right?
mm, mm.
And which makes you listen to specific uh, kind of tones and sounds and enhances the audio experience for you. So in that the whole process of taking the sound test, we
Mm.
gamified in such a way that people would be interested to complete it, and so that we can get the data.
Okay. And this is different from Sarthi, right? So this was
This is
some.
different. Yeah, this for Leaf. We did it
This
for
is
Leaf.
okay.
Yeah.
And this was like a product of Leaf where you just wanted people's sound, and for that you gamified it just to.
Yes, it was a product of Leaf. So we had a lot of customers buying your headphones, earphones, and all of that, right? So this essentially was to give an enhanced audio experience to the same customer.
Okay. And did
Yeah.
you see that gamification actually enhanced the people's completion rate?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
So, so if you see, there are various forms of sound tests, right? एक तो होता है कि आप manually click करके ले लो, or you manually set the equalizer 10 decibel points up, 5 decibel points low, depending on different frequency bands. We did not rely on all of that manual intervention, and we created a gamified automatic system which would make you listen to different sounds and just record an input based on the sound you were hearing between A, B, C. And based on that, you would create the hearing graph.
Okay.
So in all of that, and then once it is created, we would give them a score which would enable them to understand what is the amount of hearing loss that has occurred already till their age in life, or kitna और potentially हो सकता है, and then comparing them with your friends to see, अरे मैं तो इतना सुन सकता हूँ, अरे तू तो इतना सुन सकता है, I can hear bass more as compared to you, I am good at treble, and all of that comparison analysis starts. So this is what we realized, it really increased engagement for our customers.
So it was more of the interactivity between not just the people and the technology, but also between people, like comparing their overall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, essentially gamification, what I realized was not only limited to a one-person experience where technology was just interacting with the person. It was much more about a multiplayer experience, like a MMORPG, right? Where people have taken roles and they're comparing things with other people. That becomes very nuanced and engaging. That's what I realized.
So this is something that I've been reading about, especially in terms of sharing data, like where people can see others' progress and then see their own progress. There have been some people criticizing about data privacy, saying that if something becomes critical, like like decibel system, like I know that I have hearing loss, but I don't want others to know it. And then you're making it like a social platform where others can also see it. Do you think that that is something that gamification is kind of overlooking, or is that also in?
Keshav, I think I lost you for 5 seconds.
Yeah, so I said that when you make this more social, if I have something that I am inherently conscious about, and suddenly everyone sees it, do you think that is an oversight of gamification, or do you think that can also be controlled through gamification?
See, it's a very geography dependent question. Like, for example, if this research you're doing is for Bharat, right? People don't give a lot of shit to privacy, and you know that, right? The secondary part is if you're doing for Europe, USA, there are ways like if people consent to taking the test on the first instance, they're consenting for the company which has made all their terms and conditions open on their website and anyone can go and read it. That this data will be used for comparative analysis. Only then you would realize the value. If I just show you a 50 score and I don't give you other people to compare it with, you would be like, iska kya matlab hua? What does 50 mean? 50 has significance and value only when it is compared to people who either are above you or below you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense as well. And I mean, again, that the reason I was asking this was because I see the answers coming mostly from outside of gamification realm, which is more of ethics based. But yeah, so regarding Sarthi, can you explain more about what that is and how is that gamified exactly?
Oh, yes. So the goal of Sarthi is just to take you step by step to increase your net value, right? And we believe that it can only happen by concrete deep learning, focusing on certain skills from which can and basically continuously consistently working on those skills from level 1 to level 10. Now the whole challenge is how do you make people go from level 1 to level 10 and still stick with you? What are those incentives? How do we make people engaged in a sort of a system so that their net value, not even for themselves, but also their lifetime value for the product increases? So, ये करने के लिए we've built a lot of mechanisms, Sarthi. For example, if you download the app right now, right, it's a very basic app. We haven't done too much PhD on that, but like people can come in, they can form cross connections. So um, so basically, it becomes a lot of connected network effects, where the nodal value of each network is equivalent to 2 raised per n, the number of nodal connection. So that inherently enhances the connection value. So we have a social section where people can connect and follow each other. Once they go to each other's profile, they can see, okay, what is the existing rank of that person inside this whole ecosystem of Sarthi, and then he comes back and compares his rank with them. So a lot of insights are based on competition and comparison. Um, so that's one. The second is, of course, we have a basic leaderboard in which we show two types of ranking. Now, I believe global leaderboards are not very cool because there is no context to the people I'm seeing in global leaderboards. The only context arises when I see people in my local leaderboard. That is my friends. If you and I are friend, and if you are making, let's say, 30,000 rupees a month, how can I make 31,000? What do I do? I want to win from you. That's the kind of competitions people have in their social life. तो किसी को बिल गेट से अमीर नहीं होना, पड़ोसी से अमीर होना. That's the point. So the point is key. So we built local leaderboards where once you get connected with a lot of people, you see the value that they are deriving out of this platform, and then you compete. So that's the part of leaderboard. Then we of course give nudges to people. Do this more in the product, so your value becomes much more, and you are able to win from your friends. So for example, we have a currency, inbuilt currency called the Sarthi coins. Now those are not just ordinary coins. We plan to put these coins in circulation. So right now they are in the cold wallets of people. Approximately we have 95 million cold wallet coins in the ecosystem. Now those coins will essentially be used for commerce or trading P2P between people to gain an advantage inside the platform, which makes them grow their value much quickly. So the idea is, how do you use these coins for providing value to the people, which is equivalent to the coins that they have already earned by engagement. So connection of that loop. So that's the coin part. And then how do you incentivize every single activity in the app, which makes people do more of that activity in comparison with their friends and earn more. So so combining all these things, we figured out that we can build a gamification engine and continuously improve that engine as more people get added, as we get more data, as we see more workflows, how people are navigating through the app, what are the actions they are taking, and everything. So we can do improvements as people move in their journey to increase their value.
So some few interesting things that I took from it. One is which I see in a lot of different applications, something like Coursera also does, is that they build a community within itself to kind of legitimize their activity. So for example, hello?
The network is a little poor on your side. I see a red mark on your Wi-Fi.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I think kabhi kabar chale jata hai beech mein.
Okay, so yeah, so what I was saying was, like you said, that the coins that you have made is more of an internal ecosystem that you have created. So that is one. So keeping that at one side, and then there's something known as like Coursera does something. They give a certificate, but that certificate will only have a value when the network outside values that certificate. So does Sarthi also do something like that? So for example, if I come into Sarthi and I want to leave it with increasing my money, the income I earn, then others have to accept my incentivized value.
Yes. So we don't give out official certificates right now, but we plan to become a proof of your digital net worth.
Okay.
A digital proof of your net worth, like where CVs are not the measure of how much package you should get. Like how is your package determined, right? It is determined by your past package. That's one parameter to it. The second is your balls to demand XYZ money. The third is how much you have spent already in gaining that amount of basically the headings on your CV, and then trying to compute and backtrack, okay, this is how much I should at least get. So these people, right, Bharat does not have that concept where they can do all of this analysis and come to a point. So we plan to become a short way for them. Okay, certified by Sarthi that you our minimum a 30,000 rupee guy for this skill.
Hmm.
So you can show that in demand as a
Okay.
proof. So it becomes a form of authentication. And if Sarthi becomes more valuable and more recognized,
Hmm.
so does the value of the authentication that we provide to you.
Hmm. So the service which is gamified needs to have an outside ecosystem as well to be able to give its users a sense of authenticity. Would you say that?
Depends. If people want to get employed with
Hmm.
other people, yes, where the employer must accept that Sarthi certified means something.
Hmm.
If the person wants to self-employ himself,
Hmm.
then what matters is his business relations with other people inside Sarthi who value that rating.
Hmm.
Then I don't need an external ecosystem.
Makes sense. Um, and how important do you think is the internal ecosystem that you create through your own coins, through your own like localized leaderboard? Does it just help in creating a community, or does it also lead to some sort of authenticity or some sort of wanting to be, you know, valuable within the community? Like, what is the reason of having a currency that is only localized to the application?
Yeah, it's essentially a sense of belonging with any community or currency. Like, so if you look at crypto, right, Bitcoin holders proudly say they are Bitcoin holders because they believe in Bitcoin.
Hmm.
And like if you're a Bitcoin holder, I suddenly have something common to connect with you on. So that sense of belonging is much more as compared to someone who's an Ethereum holder or Dogecoin holder.
Hmm.
So a currency unifies people under a same umbrella and gives them a sense of belonging, and that is especially required for people who are strangers in the vast ocean called the internet.
Hmm.
There needs to be one common node, and that node cannot only be usage of a certain application.
Um, okay, and you said that like this is again an assumption. People who would be entering your application would be intrinsically motivated to. Would you say that, or do you think there are extrinsic motivated people as well?
Making money is a very big intrinsic motivation for everyone, and increasing how much money they can make. So
Hmm.
that's one.
So,
Uh,
yeah.
Extrinsic motivation would be for skills. That किस skill के लिए मैं अपनी network बनाऊं, for example, and that depends on a lot of family values as well as people they know. For
Hmm.
example, we've seen people who have someone in their family with a sarkari naukri or a government job.
Hmm.
They're very, very much motivated to crack a government exam.
Hmm.
And so the skill is eccentric, but increasing your value in that skill is intrinsic.
Hmm. So once you say these people enter your application, you said that you have inbuilt incentivized processes that keeps them engaged for a longer time, or competing them with their peers. Do you think that comes in because over a period of time you start seeing the intrinsic motivation die down, or like it seems like a motor, right? Something is dropping and then you again restart it by incentivizing people. So is that the sole reason of incentivization, or is it something else? Is it to make them complete it quicker, uh, or like what are those reasons behind using these intrinsic?
Uh, so in my head, incentivization is very related to interest and engagement. And incentivization essentially changes people's behavior. So what you incentivize is what you get. So if I incentivize a certain action and I want data on that particular action, it works. I incentivize it even more as compared to the other action. So people have a comparative analysis that they would do that action much more as compared to the other action, and then I can see my data flow. So one, it is an A/B tool for me to test my features internally inside the app. The second is for people to continue to be in that system of engagement with their other peers. The third is for acquisition of new people as a trigger. So trigger action, reward, variable reward, and investment. So hook loop, right? So trigger it actually incentive you can plug incentivization on all the four channels, whether that's a trigger, whether that's engagement, whether that's investment to the platform by these people. वो कहीं भी डाल सकते हो आप depending on what is your goal for the platform at this present stage.
And where do you see user experience come into all of this? In all this?
Every stage essentially, at all these four stages, at trigger, action, variable reward, and investment. User experience is the basic underline over which all these trees are planted. Right? It's like the ground. So if that is broken, as much amount of incentive you can give, people will start to complain and they'll come back to you that, hey, I want this incentive, but this is not working, so you better fix it. So also incentive can only work to a certain extent where the user doesn't lose interest in that incentive, where it becomes extremely hard for him to take that particular action. So it's like a balancing scale. Is it hard enough? Is it easy to do? How much incentivized am I? So if you take a incentive to ease scale, it would be a linear line.
And like if you look at all these activities, like gamification is an added tool to make something more gameful, to make something more play like game like. But if you remove those elements as well, the activity still holds. Like there's a core activity that your application has to provide. Now the core activity has to give some sort of experience to the user, and then those game elements that you add provides a different kind of experience. So do you think those experiences can be segregated and be seen separately, or do you think it kind of just merges together and becomes one huge user experience?
So there are two schools of thought there. One is that I have my core activity, for example, learning or making payments or traveling, right? And then gamification is just an auxiliary inputs on top, like makeup or decoration, which I can bundle it in and then serve to the user, where he comes for the core activity but stays for the engagement, right? But I am not a believer of that. I am a believer where gamification and core value are very equivalent, and it is not like an egg which is bundled, but these are essentially soluble fluids which can be very cohesive and become a big bundle. So I do not view and especially this is the kind of thinking which is being evolved in the next generation of products, where I believe that gamification is equally important to the core value and nothing can exist without each other. So when we go learning banana, then it has like gamification is a holds like 50% of it, and 50% is the content that I teach. So that then I don't have to continuously force people to take actions because no one told you to play a game. You play the game by yourself. That's the whole point. But you're forced to study. So वो मेरे को नहीं समझ में आता. So I'm of the second school of thought.
And do you think that during the consumer journey, as you said, the first stage is acquisition. Now, are there certain elements in your application that are more crucial at that point, and then over the consumer journey, it's like a fluid thing, like the elements that should be perceived as crucial keep changing, and that is where the experience kind of then moves towards?
First, so I would say first 45 seconds are the most crucial, where the onboarding needs to be extremely friction free. So onboarding can happen in 15 seconds, but the next 30 seconds where you just have that attention span and you can take the person through the whole journey of the product, quickly make him realize value and show him the gamification incentives, which keeps him hooked and coming for the second time. मतलब आपको second meeting चाहिए बंदे से. That's the point, right? First meeting में you just tell enough and give him enough so that he comes back for the second time. First 45 seconds, I would say, is the main part.
And so this is what I want to look at, where you kind of get the person back for the second time. Is that where gamification really comes into the picture? Like without it, it wouldn't have worked? Or do you say that?
I think पहले first couple of days is only about gratification, where people are just being surprised or wowed that they're getting free value. Belief of that this is a game and realization of the value of game comes in as people start to engage more, that he goes to the leaderboard. Now he goes, add some few friends. Now suddenly he sees, oh, my local leaderboard. Keshav is suddenly today morning. I get a notification. Keshav has like made 3x as compared 3x more Sarthi coins as compared to me, and he's killing it. He's ranked number 3 on my whole local leaderboard, and I'm 16. Now I need to buck up. So उसमें थोड़ा time लगता है, a couple of sessions, but the first couple of sessions is literally just giving free value to people for entering and coming back again for that hit or dopamine hit of that free value.
And how do you know what exactly to send as a notification and when to send as a notification to actually nudge them to come back? Again, all the things that you just said were linked to gamification, like leaderboard, the progress the other person has done. So what is like, is it something like saying that a person has really hit off and you are now really behind is what nudges them? Or is it like someone just overtook you and that nudges them? Is that something that you experiment with while going through, or?
So they're essentially notification workflows where we analyze your past actions. Then we see which actions have motivated you to click for the first couple of times, and the time. What time have you clicked them? If you give us a location access, we understand that nearby people who use Sarthi, are they performing in a similar way as compared to you? So based on all of that analysis, a unique individual workflows are created for smart notifications, which are contextually the most relevant to you. For example, if you follow 10 teachers, right? When those teachers put the quiz, we send you a couple of notifications. Now, which teacher do you click the notification of? How much time do you spend on their profile? How much browsing do you do on their profile? Do you see their profile picture or not? That also is a very crazy factor. People who see other people's profile picture have 30% more retention as compared to people who don't see their profile picture. So how do you incentivize people seeing each other's profile picture if you want to increase that retention metric? It's fuck all. It's crazy. So yes, essentially individual workflows are created for every person based on their past action, and that's where our ML model kicks in, which essentially tells what is your workflow.
And something based on what you said, if let's say intrinsically there is a behavior of people to go and click on profile pictures, for example, as you said, the moment you incentivize it and the application kind of tells you to go do that action, have you seen that the behavior drops because now it's a machine telling you to do it compared to you yourself doing things autonomously?
No,
No,
it doesn't. It's just a nudge.
Okay.
So so you would realize that majority of the people do dumb scrolling.
What is that exactly?
So they come on an application, now they are completely lost.
Okay.
Unless they see some similar elements like a search button or bottom nav bar where they click. They have no one has the time or the attention span to read what is it, right? So the application should be so idiot proof that when a human is engaged in the process of dumb scrolling, it is still able to provide value via a simple walkthrough. So a nudge is the guiding light in a dark forest, essentially, for people who has no motivation to read on a screen.
And for extremely experienced people who have been on the app for a much longer time, do you see similar nudges still working, or is it only for the early early users? Or
early users. Majority for the people who stick around till day 30. Post day 30, we don't find the need to send people a lot of notifications for internal features. We leave. We basically give small nudges, but not too much, and we leave it to them as a surprise to discover new elements in the app. So suddenly now, for example, you are using an app and tomorrow a new feature comes in and then you're surprised. Oh man, oh, this is very cool. Suddenly the utility of the app is increased. Much more just like Instagram story filters came in, or those AR filters, blah blah, right? So many of the people discovered it themselves.
Hmm.
Instagram didn't specifically nudge you that hey, we have filters now.
Hmm.
So we realized that for pro users, we leave it as a thrill for them to discover.
And does the gamification aspect of it, the way people engage with it because of gamification, does it change between heavy users or long users or?
Yes, yes, it does. So, so any company chooses their best people,
Hmm.
their most ideal user persona, and tries to build around that user persona. And every single action inside the app is to get the initial acquisition flow to be like that user persona.
Hmm.
So that is the whole goal.
Hmm.
That I know these people spend 8 hours per day on my app post a 30-day period. I want everyone to do that because that is what kicks my metrics up.
Hmm.
Now I want every single user who's being acquired to be like them. How did they become like them? What do I nudge them? How do I nudge them, or what is the kind of experience that I create so that a very comparable or similar persona is being derived at the end of day 30 by a certain percentage of the incoming users.
Hmm.
तो पूरा experience फिर उसके around creators होता है.
And would you say that that is where gamification is used to persuade or change behaviors towards molding it towards that ideal person? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, the last few questions. So one is like, what is the ultimate goal of your organization, and how does gamification help achieve it, or make you achieve it quicker, or things like that?
So Sarthi, the goal is very simple. This is a place where future millionaires come to get inspired.
Hmm.
So anyone who is looking to really learn this skill and the art of making money via a specialization is who comes to Sarthi.
Hmm.
So that's the core vision, and we want to impact 1 billion people by 2025.
Hmm.
So that's the core motive, and gamification is essentially, I won't say it is an element on top of our product. It is the product.
Product. Yeah.
So I think people who view gamification as add-on features don't will not build great products because in the coming years, because attention span is massively decreasing
Hmm.
until unless there is an inherent need slash want for people to come back to your product,
Hmm.
and just people won't.
Hmm.
Right. So in fact, we're seeing a lot of startups who pay for attention. So there's this startup called there's this coin called Basic Attention Token (BAT), which is I don't know, have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
So there's a browser called the Brave browser, right? Brave. Now they are competing with Chrome, and they're kicking ass like they have 10 million users. It is built on Chromium itself, but whenever you browse using Brave,
Hmm.
uh, they give you a token, a coin,
Okay.
which is the coin or the incentive for your attention of
Hmm.
using the browser, which the other browsers would essentially would take by showing you free ads,
Hmm.
and they would sell their attention to the advertiser. Now, Brave said, "I'm going to give this token to you. If you want to see ads, the advertiser will have to purchase these tokens from you. So they would pay you, not me, and I would just take a cut. So your attention is being monetized. So yeah, attention span is decreasing, and I think products need to be not need to be gamified. Product needs to be like a game.
And that basically relies on the core assumption that people are intrinsically motivated to play games, and time just flows for them when they play games.
Yes, they enter the state of flow.
Flows, yeah.
So
Okay. And lastly, like you said, that gamification is like inherent and it's part of your product. Is there a point where the gamified part of your product leads to demotivation or negative feelings amongst people?
oh yeah, that's a very thin line that products work on. Yeah, so no one likes to lose. That's a human thing. So how do you make sure that majority of the people win so they keep coming back? and I can't announce just 3 winners, right? Top 3 out of 10 lakh people
Yeah.
on my app this week. So you need, so first of all, we need to realize the demotivating factors and then limit them by putting a max threshold, which is just enough, which keeps you excited yet coming back. So so there's a thing called the torture gap as well, and
Okay.
I'm sure you've read this in the actionable gamification, that I give you a torture time
Yeah.
where I don't let you take certain actions which which you really want to take, but so you spend come back after 3 hours and unlock this reward, blah blah blah. So that also works. So if I make it 24 hours, suddenly I see a massive drop. If I make it 6 hours, okay, still good enough. If I make it 3 hours, oh, that's the perfect sweet spot for the torture gap, which increases the number of sessions and everything. So yeah, a very thin line to work with.
So then it basically, so when you're looking at what duration to keep this, torture gap for and things like that, is it purely like quantitative research of seeing that 51% people came back, so that's a good amount for us? Like, how is that something quantifiable that you keep?
Majoritarily quantitative, but then we verify it qualitatively as well.
Okay.
Data speaks the truth, so mainly we see the data and then we try to make sense of the data and then try to verify that sense by conversations.
And for people who are dropping out of the application or like stopping the engagement for, let's say, a week or so, suddenly they're off. Have you figured out why that happens? Is it related to user experience, and how do you actually get them back? Yeah.
So usually what happens is we realize that people drop off when it stops becoming challenging enough.
Okay.
To develop levels and challenges in an application where different skill level people can simultaneously engage is a mammoth of a task. As a builder, I build for a certain level of people, and then I build. It's like a building, level 1, level 2, level 3 to the 10th floor, right? So mainly people say that, okay, hey, my application is built till D30 retention, because post that people become advanced to cross that level, and then I haven't built that level. I need to raise funds. I need to get a better tech team, blah blah blah, to build for the level 2, level 3. So we realize that people don't find it challenging enough, then they drop off, and for that we start to build our level 2, level 3 based on the difficulty of content, the usage pattern, the number of sessions, the engagement time, and everything. So I think it's a very similar scenario to other learning apps, but social apps like them different होता है. So when your community drifts away.
Interesting. Thank you so much. This was extremely helpful. If I do have a follow-up interview, I might have to reach back to you, if that's fine.
Always.
Yeah, but this is
really. Drop me questions. I can answer you on WhatsApp as well.
Yeah.
So as you see fit, not a problem at all.
Perfect.
When is this research going to come out? What are you planning?
So this is basically my dissertation. I'm making it like a 3 study. So I'm doing a systematic review of, I think it's about 1,400 papers on gamification. And then the second one is I've realized that people haven't really interviewed developers and users together. So that is what I've been doing now, collecting the data and specifically looking at user experience. So, figure out how gamification actually enhances, or actually where does it enhance and where does it actually deteriorate user experience, things like that.
Superb. So how many founders have you interviewed?
I have talked to 13 of them.
It's insane, man. Did you find interesting things from the others?
It's pretty interesting. So again, what I've termed it till now, I call it the hedonic the need treadmill, just like the hedonic treadmill. What I've realized is developers kind of keep getting back needs to you when you think that you have fulfilled your needs and you want to drop out. Suddenly a new need emerges, and that is not an intrinsic need, because psychology says that needs are something that are intrinsic. Like I feel I have a need and then I'll go and I want it and then I engage in something. What gamification primarily is doing is actually creating needs for you while you think that you are fulfilling them. More needs keep coming in. So that is something that I'm seeing in that interaction. Like when I'm talking to users, it's fascinating. They don't even realize it. They're like, oh, I got that message, and I was like, I need to be better than that person. And I was like, if that thing wouldn't have come, would you care? They were like, no, we don't. So I was like, so that was like created by the developers. Like,
Yeah, yeah. So people create needs, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Especially who spend some time in a community.
Exactly. And that's why I was asking about community based, because the moment you become part of a community, then the developer doesn't have to care about creating needs. Then it becomes like, as a user, I start creating my own needs after looking at some other person in my community. Like, no one has to intrinsically motivate me to talk to a friend. I'll do it. But you as a developer have to create that friend for me first.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. So we also realize this. If we allow people to cross connect, then they do a lot of monkey see, monkey do,
Hmm.
right? And I realized that this is very similar to social status in the society. If I get a Mercedes, suddenly you want it. So this need arises because you saw me. So yeah, it happens in our digital product as well.
No, but
But
this
very
is,
interesting.
yeah.
I hope I was able to give you some
No,
data which may be useful for your research.
it was perfect. It was perfect. And that's why I said follow-up interview might be coming your way, because again, what I've realized is instead of just interviewing all developers, what I did was I interviewed 3-4 people from the developing side, and then started talking to consumers. And now it's been like a badminton game. I'm just asking one and then asking the other, and then it's a new
Yeah,
thing.
I think that's the best way to research, man.
Yeah.
Like getting a taste of both the sides. No?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, could you send me this recording? I would love to put it on my YouTube channel and share it.
Yeah. Perfect.
है ना?
So I'll share the link with you, Zoom link. I think you can download it.
Yes. Yes, would love to, man. Would love to. So help or please, Patana.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All the
Also,
best for you.
yeah, if you have like, it's just a snowballing technique. If you know other developers that might be able to interview.
Let me think about other people who may be into gamification, and if I come across someone, I'll definitely put you in touch with them.
Perfect. Yeah.
मैं check करता हूँ. Okay.
Yes.
All the best for this, and let me know as soon as this comes out. I would love to read.
Yeah, definitely.
When are you planning this for this to be out?
I mean, technically, it's part of my dissertation, so next year, by the end of next year, is when it should.
By the end of next year, it's a long way then.
Yeah, long way. So, but I am working on other gamification projects, which like 2 of them are already in the review process. It's more about mobile game gamification in mobile games. So if that comes out, I'll let you know. So that's again based on what are the behaviors within the app, along with their psychological behavior while engaging with the app that leads to paying behaviors. So paying versus non-paying.
That's very cool, man. Would love to read that as well. Yeah. But just let me know whenever it comes out. Yeah. I'll be very psyched to read it.
Definitely.
Perfect. Oh, chalo. Perfect. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Have a good one, buddy. Bye.
Bye.